If you are relying on humans to follow up with your leads, you are literally burning money. Period. I built an AI sales team in under 30 minutes, a fully automated appointment setter that never forgets, never gets tired, never stops following up. And this thing booked 84 appointments in 1 week for a med spa, 70 in a week for a marketing agency. And today I'm literally going to be showing you exactly how to build your own, a never-ending follow-up system that turns dead leads into booked calls. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Now, if you've seen my previous videos, the difference between this one is I'm literally going to build a never-ending follow-up system. So I've been having people reach out to me pretty consistently and they can't figure out how to create a follow-up system, and once someone doesn't reply, it won't follow up, etc. Also, that they've been running into issues in how it responds. Now, I say this over and over and over again, so I probably sound like a broken record, but if you're having trouble with how it communicates, it is 1000% how you are prompting it. Don't ever think it's the system. Every single AI that you use is backed by, well, 99% of them are backed by ChatGPT or OpenAI. So it all comes down to the prompting, the prompt engineer. And I say this over and over again, but if you are getting a surgery done, if you have an actual surgeon that's performing the surgery, the effectiveness, how fast you do it, and how well the surgery actually goes is dependent upon how good that surgeon is. Or if the person isn't a surgeon at all, you could probably predict how that's going to go. So let's go ahead and dive in. The first thing you are going to need is a platform that I call GoHighLevel. Now, well, technically everybody calls it that because that's the name of the software. But this is, if you're not familiar with this platform, it's a client relationship management tool where you can really do anything you want. You can house conversations, you can have calendars, you can have contacts, opportunities, etc., collect payments. It has everything you need all in one place. You can even build websites and create AI assistants, as I'm about to show you. Now, I don't have enough time in this video to show you everything that GoHighLevel does, but let's go ahead and dive into the meat of the actual video. So you're going to go down first and you're going to click on settings. Also, if you would like to try GoHighLevel and you're not a GoHighLevel user yet, I do have a free 30-day trial. It's typically 14, but it's a 30-day free trial of this platform if you want to try it out and see if it's right for you. So if you scroll down after you go to settings, you're going to see conversational AI and you're going to go ahead and click that. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to create a bot from scratch. So we're going to click on this. Now, what I'm going to do is there's two different ways to create bots, and I kind of want to preface this. So there's a way to do it in the workflows, which is exactly what we're going to do, and there's a way to do it in the back end, which we're going into now. The only reason I start by going in the back end and creating it is because it's structured the same way and you can test it in real time. The workflows you can't test in real time. So what we're going to do is create a prompt that actually effectively communicates well like it's an actual human, and then once we think it's good enough, we're going to copy the prompt and we're going to paste it in the workflow. You'll know what I mean by the time I get to the end of this video. The reason why we like to house them in the workflow is because you have more control over it. You can create bots for when a new lead comes in, when someone no-shows to an appointment, if you're trying to get someone to reschedule, etc. So that's why we like the control that we get over housing them in the workflows, but we're going to go ahead and start in the back end. So let's go appointment booking for this one, and you're going to click continue, and we're going to name this Shirley, because that is the first name that came to my mind and that was not planned whatsoever. And none of this really matters because we're not going to be housing it in the back end, but just to give you an example of what these do, autopilot would just mean this kind of just runs all at once. I actually don't like the autopilot, which is why I create it in the workflow. It's because you don't really get to control when it turns on and when it turns off. There are specific settings you can mess with, but it's still a little bit iffy. The only thing I like to use this for at the moment is testing in real time. Let's go ahead and keep this off. It doesn't matter if it communicates in SMS. None of this really matters at all. Wait time for responding, because all of these settings are specific to what's happening in the back here. So now we're going to go to bot training. And once we get here, actually, we're going to go ahead and skip all of this to show you just to explain what a web crawler is. Basically, you can type in websites and it will actually crawl the website so that it has a stored FAQ to answer any questions. Again, though, we're not actually utilizing this bot. We're just kind of using it for its prompt so we can copy and paste it into the workflow. Just to give you an idea of what the workflow looks like before we get into that, because it might seem kind of confusing at the moment. This is the workflow. So there's an actual action here where you can trigger it by, let's say, a form submission, and you can prompt its personality, give it additional instructions, etc. So this is what we really want to get into, but let's go ahead and move back over here and get to work on this. Bot goals. This is where the actual meat of everything happens. So there's two sections, well, two primary sections. One is personality, so you're programming the personality or you're prompting the personality, how you want the AI to behave, if you want it to be friendly, personable, etc. And then you have the additional instructions where you can literally put anything else. A couple of guidelines that you want to follow. When you're prompting the AI, You want to have a primary objective, so like filling out a survey, sending a link, or booking an appointment. And then you want to have many objectives throughout that help lead to the primary objective. And this is where a lot of people mess up. I have people DM me all the time and they're like, hey, the bot doesn't work, or it doesn't do this, or whatever it might be. Just prompt it. Spend some time on actually prompting the AI. Some of these people I know watch only 10 minutes of a video and then they spent 10 minutes on trying to test the AI and it didn't work. You have to put the time in to effectively get this to work. But think about it this way. If you put 3 hours into trying to craft the perfect bot, which I genuinely think it'll only take that long if you watch this video, and then that AI is perfect for the next year on booking appointments onto your calendar, it's probably worth the amount of work that you put in that first 3 hours on actually prompting the AI. I hate it when people don't actually put in the work and try to learn it themselves. I try to make this as simple as possible so that anybody could literally watch the video and create the AI themselves. So put in a little bit of work. It's not going to be, 10 minutes of work to get you a perfect AI to operate. Anyway, so first thing we're going to do, let's program the personality. Now, one of the things I like to do is I prompt by utilizing what I call custom fields, because this is easier for me. Now, to give you an example, if I go back over to this screen and I'll zoom in on this a little bit, you'll see that I have a custom field for, and it's really just code that stores pieces of information. I have a custom field for qualifying questions, for the contact's name, and for the name of the AI assistant, about the company information, the conversation style, etc. So I can store all of this information in here, so if I want to template it, I can, which means I just have to create the prompt one time, and then once the prompt is good, I can store that, duplicate it to a different account, and all I have to do is update these bits and pieces of information to a new company, new conversation examples, new conversation styles, etc. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, in this case, what I'm going to do is we're not going to be using custom fields, because I really just want to kind of go through and actually prompt in real time so you can see exactly what I'm doing, and I'm going to kind of think out loud so you can know exactly what my thought process is. But if you do want that templated version with all the custom fields so it's replicatable, whether you're trying to start your own agency or you just want to make it easier on yourself and you're a business owner, I also have a snapshot link in the description. If you click on that snapshot link, you'll find it available. You can click it, load it into your GoHighLevel, and it will be an automatic template that gets loaded into your account. But let's go ahead and dive in here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to create some personality traits here. Let's say you are friendly and personable. You must behave as if you are human. And then let's go ahead and actually let's cheat here. I'm going to take this and we're going to type this into ChatGPT, and I'm going to say, give me a better prompt for my conversational AI. This is its personality section. All right, perfect. Yep, this is beautiful. So this is exactly what you can do. I mean, you're using the platform that we're actually trying to use for our appointment setter, and we're telling it to build the knowledge base for us. So it's giving us example responses and everything. This is perfect. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and copy this, and we're going to paste it in here, and let's remove that. And this should be enough for the personality trait. Perfect. Now, additional information. One of the things you want to do, prompting 101, is you want to talk to it like a child. You want to be very, very clear in what you're trying to execute. And then you also want to give it examples, especially on conversation styles. So if you want it to be more, like, let's say, relatively informal, so sometimes instead of saying, like, are you a business owner, I'll say, you a business owner, because it comes off as more human, especially if you're texting somebody back and forth. So there are different examples that you can give it to actually have it follow a conversational track that you want it to follow. So let's keep it easy to begin with. So it'll give you a templated version of some examples right off the bat. And we can come in here and change these up a little bit later, but let's get to actually developing the objectives. So your main objective is to ask a series of qualifying questions and get them to book an appointment after they answer the questions. The qualifying questions are, and let's just say this is for a marketing agency. Let's see. Qualifying questions are, what type of business do you own? And then qualifying question number 2, how soon are you looking to get started? And then some additional layers would be, only ask one question per message. Do not try to book until all questions are answered. Okay, now let's scroll back up and we'll take a look at, so it has a templated version of examples, what to avoid and what to use. So let's do this. Use a more informal conversation style and avoid saying or how at the beginning of questions. For example, instead of are you a business owner, say you a business owner. All right, and then you can kind of fill in your own examples here. So hello, how can I assist you today? Let's say, hey, anything I can help with. So do some thinking on what is the most human-like in conversation, as if you were texting the person yourself. I like that one for avoiding this and using this. I like that as well. Okay, perfect. Now we can save this for the time being. We have that here. One thing we also want to add, so at the very beginning, your first message should always be, hey, just saw your info come in. Here's a quick helpful piece of advice to remember as you're prompting things like this. Whenever you're reaching out to somebody, you want the initial message to seem very human-like, number one, and you also want to ask a question that is very easy to answer. So sometimes I'll say, hey, just saw your info come in, just want to make sure this is, and then you could use a custom field here, contact first name. And for whatever reason, it's not populating. So let me grab that from, I'm gonna go to the settings in GoHighLevel, and I'm actually gonna grab this. So we're gonna go to custom fields, and we're gonna find first name. I'm gonna copy this, we're gonna paste it, because the goal is to get them to respond. Once you get them to respond, once you get your foot in the door, it's easy to kind of keep the ball rolling because you've gained some momentum. So the goal is to make that very first question super easy to answer. So, hey, just saw your info come in. Just wanna make sure this is contact first name. So it'll say, just wanna make sure this is Jake, question mark. The person says yes, that opens the door for us to continue the conversation. All right, we're gonna save this, and let's also add, make sure to ask questions, or make sure to address what they say before you ask questions. Keep it conversational. All right, perfect. If you guys still have questions on prompting after this video, I don't know what to tell you from this point. Okay, now we're gonna test it in real time. So this is the exact reason why we're using this. So I'm gonna say hi. Hey, just saw your info come in. Just wanna make sure, just want more leads. All right, let's see here. It looks like our business information is loaded with, I see, hold on. So I think it's referring back to the links that were initially uploaded. So what we're gonna do is remove that because this is not gonna be applicable with the bot that we were using. So let's try this again. Perfect. Yep. Great, just want to know what type of business you own. Okay, so this is exactly what you want to continue to test this, find out what you like and don't like, and then once you find something you don't like, prompt it not to do that. And if you find something you do like, continue prompting it to do that. So for example, in this case, and it's not too bad at first, but it says, great, just need to know what type of business do you own. Love that. I don't always like when it uses a lot of exclamation points, and I have a feeling it's going to continue to do this throughout the conversation. So don't overuse exclamation points. This is not human-like. All right, perfect. We're going to save it and run through the test again. And this is where the majority of your time should be spent. Yeah, I need more leads. Got it. More leads can make a big difference. What type of business do you own? Love it. Med spa. Nice, med spas are really popular right now. How soon are you looking to get started? Look at that, and I love the conversation style of this. So it adapted just from what I said before, even though I didn't give any examples or talking tracks or anything like that, because I did give it one example, but not specific to this. But I gave an example and I told it that I wanted it to be more informal, and then it says, want to book an appointment to get things rolling. So this is a great conversation style. Obviously, I could sit here and spend more and more time on prompting this, but let's go ahead and dive in. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna open up another tab here, and we're gonna open up the workflow. So what you would wanna do to get this working is, I like organizing things in folders, but you would just create a workflow and you're gonna start from scratch. So I'm gonna go down here and click on the one that we have open right now. And if you click the little plus button, if your screen is blank, and you type in appointment booking, you'll see appointment booking conversational AI, and that is what you are going to click. Now, how this workflow works, the workflow session has a trigger area up top, so that's what triggers all of the actions that follow. So for example, if a form is submitted, or let's say you run LinkedIn ads, you can do LinkedIn form submissions. If you run Facebook ads, you can do Facebook lead form submissions. If you have a landing page that's made in GoHighLevel, you can just do a form submission and select the form that's associated with that. So that is what can trigger this. If you wanted it to be a no-show sequence, you could, for example, do appointment status, and then you could filter it for appointment status is, and no-show. So anytime someone was marked as a no-show, they'd automatically be added to this sequence. That's just an example. So now you have the personality area. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove this. Otherwise, if you would have just built this, you would have had to kind of enroll yourself into the campaign manually. What you can do, you just go to the contact section and you can actually manually push it into the workflow and then text it back and forth, and that is how you would have to test it. When you can test it in real time, it makes you significantly more efficient. Now let's copy all of this, and we're going to go back here, we're going to paste it, and we're going to go back over here, copy this prompt, and we know it works because we've tested it, and we paste it here. Now we're going to select the calendar that we want it to book on. One thing you can do right here, so you can have it booked directly onto the calendar. One of the things I personally like to do, and this is my own personal preference, it's what we do for our clients as well, is I like to send a calendar link as opposed to using an actual calendar and having it give time slot availabilities. If you are going to do this, you need to make sure that if you're going to have it booked directly on the calendar, you need to make sure that you prompt the AI to suggest the times with time zones, or prompt the AI and let it know what time zone you're in so that it will tell the person, hey, we're in Pacific Standard Time, here's the slots that we have available for tomorrow. One of the biggest downfalls to this AI right now is when a lead comes into the system, the lead doesn't always know what time zone the person is in, and it will just give time slot availabilities in your time zone without letting the person know, and the person will assume it's their time zone, and then everybody gets mixed up. So make sure you prompt it to do that. However, I like to send the links. So one of the things I add to the additional instructions is you can add something like, do not book directly onto the calendar. Only send a calendar link if they agree to the appointment. Another reason why I like to send calendar links is because show rates significantly increase and lead or appointment quality significantly increases as well. So there's something about somebody actually manually going and locking themselves in to an appointment, and you can also embed forms to calendars. So if you have a form embedded to your calendar, and I'll show you an actual example. So if you go to our booking page for an example, and if for whatever reason you would want to book with us and potentially work with us, you can actually find this exact link in the description as well. So you'll pull this up, click a link, and it'll open up a form. We have to collect this additional information, so people have to go through and answer these questions in order for them to lock in their appointment. Still very user-friendly, and they can do it in 2 seconds just by selecting, the answers to these questions, but they have to do that in order to schedule the meeting. That's another reason why we like sending the links. We can additionally qualify and give our team more information to actually do research before we jump on a call or anything like that. Now, let's go ahead and head back in here. So do not book directly onto the calendar, only send the calendar link if they agree to the appointment. And then you could say, here is the link to send. And then you can just put xyz.com or whatever the Calendly link you have is, or the GoHighLevel calendar link, etc. So you'll set this up, boom, and then here's where it gets interesting. So I've created this way of following up consistently with all of these leads now. So here's exactly what we're going to do. You're going to open this up. Now this part might get a little confusing, but I'll try to explain it the best I possibly can. So in the additional instructions, we're going to scroll down. And what you're going to add is, if the special custom field below has this symbol, and you're going to put in parentheses, and you're going to put 2 dashes side by side, then the person did not respond for 1 to 2 days. You must send a follow-up message. Do not use the same follow-up more than once in your conversation history. And now, let me see if I can find this. And you can create your own custom field and name it follow-up or something like that. We're going to call this custom field. Perfect. Okay, so we have this. Now, again, this is not specific to anything. Don't let this confuse anybody. You can create your own custom field in the settings and call it follow-ups. I just wanted to select one that I already had in here to save some time for the sake of this video. So custom field here, and you're letting it know if the special custom field below has this symbol, then follow up and don't use the same follow up. So just continue following up basically. All right, cool. Now what we're going to do is we have a wait period. So here are how these settings work. This is the maximum amount of messages that you can have in one, or messages back and forth with the prospect that you can have in one of these actions. And then the timeout value we have set to 24 hours. And you can change this to whatever you want. I want it to follow up every single day, so that's why I have it set to this. And then you have the channel, SMS, and then the wait time before responding in seconds. I typically set this to something like 12 seconds, so it's more human-like. And then that is all you need. We're gonna go ahead and save that. Now what we're gonna do is when it times out after 24 hours, we're gonna update contact field. So this is an action that you can add here. So for example, if I just click update, you're gonna click update contact field, which is right here, and it's gonna populate this. You're gonna find the field, which would be follow-ups in your case, right? But in my case, it's this one that we chose. And we're gonna update that field with 2 dashes. And then we're gonna have another action. And we're gonna copy and paste this prompt. So the follow-up custom field. So you'll have the exact same one. So you can really just duplicate this action because it's already in the prompt and add it here. Now what's gonna happen is once it goes in here, it's gonna send a follow-up message automatically because we have it built into the action. So it's going to register that it has this follow-up custom field, right? Because we just updated that custom field. Hopefully this is making sense. So we manually updated it, or actually it was automatically updated because we added that action. And then once it gets to here, it hits the conversational AI and it's gonna automatically send a follow-up message. Now, if the person responds, it's going to continue having a conversation back and forth, right? And then if they don't respond again, then we just continue updating the custom field and we can copy and paste this action. So we'll copy it here and we can paste it here and we're ready to go, and we can just continue. If the person, it will continue following up with a different message every time, and then if the person responds, it will register that in the conversation history and it will just continue having a conversation back and forth. One extra layer to add to this as well is we are gonna go back here and we're gonna add a workflow. So this is very important. And we're gonna start from scratch. And we're gonna call this clear custom field, in parentheses, FU for follow-up, not for what you think it is. And then we're gonna click this, and let's say when a customer replies, so if the person actually responds, customer replied, and we'll just make that any channel. We're gonna update a contact field, and we're gonna find this one, and let's actually clear field data. So you're gonna select in this option. So we're gonna clear field data, and we're gonna select the field, and then we're ready to go. So now what's gonna happen is, and I'll walk through this really quick. So what this is doing is anytime a customer replies back to one of our messages, it's automatically gonna clear the field, and then the conversation will continue to be had, and the AI will just continue to go back and forth with its objective to ask the questions and book the appointment. However, if the person doesn't respond, where are we at? Here we go. If the person doesn't respond, it's gonna time out. It will update the custom field with this, and because we have prompted it to continue to follow up, as we have here, with this symbol, it indicates that the prospect did not respond. And then we show that here, the AI will register that that is there, and it will send an automated follow-up message. And you can make this as long as you want. You can continue to duplicate this and add it, duplicate it and add it, and you can let this run on for 10, 20, 30 days, however long you would want. You only have to set it up once, and then it's ready to go. And that's really the main gist of this. So we went through, in the beginning, we actually built the AI, we prompted it, and now we added a layer that I've actually never recorded in one of my previous videos of adding a never-ending follow-up system to that and how to prompt it so that it will follow up. And then obviously we want it to turn off whenever there's a response, and that's what the other workflow was for. So I appreciate you watching this video. We're huge fans of you kind of doing all this stuff yourself and setting it up, especially if you have the bandwidth to do so. But if you do need some additional help, like I said before, in the description you will see a link to book a call with my team. There's also a 30-day free trial link in the description if you've never used GoHighLevel before. And if you want the snapshot with all of the custom fields to make your life significantly easier, that is also in the description. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.